called Cueritos,
Hmm.
and it's basically like pickled pigskin.
Ooh.
I don't know if it's cooked beforehand,
Yeah.
but it's just pickled and it's really good.
Yeah.
But I made Katie try it once. We were dating. She was
Yeah.
like, "What the fuck are you making me eat? It feels like worms because it's like
Yeah.
slippery.
Especially if it's potentially not even cooked.
It's got to be at least smoked.
Yeah.
I don't think they would be raw, but
Yeah.
it's good.
Interesting.
Anyway, we're recording.
We're recording. We're recording.
We are live. We are here.
We're here. We got a marathon
We
today.
got a bit of a marathon today.
Kinds of films.
A very wide variety of film.
A very wide variety.
Well, I would say the first two are pretty similar. So the first movie we're talking about is Transformers: Rise of the Beasts.
Two shameless corporate linchpins, which I enjoyed. Linchpin, I don't think is the proper word, but like the two movies that are just like clearly very, very much fulfilling a corporate purpose. And then
And then
something,
something happens.
something completely different.
Um, so for anybody who's not seen the movie, which again, why listen to a podcast about a movie if you haven't seen it?
I
But
guess people do this.
this is the
No,
Matt Muse phenomenon.
no self control. Matt, at least our good friend Matt, doesn't like. He'll do it, but like he does it on purpose, and he does it to get the spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the movie, during the 90s, a new faction of Transformers and Maximals joined the Autobots as allies in the battle for Earth. That's the synopsis. I would say that is a very nothing burger of a synopsis.
I like. And when I say I like, I mean I think it's kind of funny that the opening clause is during the '90s.
Yes, I think the reason for that is because this falls in the continuity of all the other Transformers movies.
It does, but for no reason does it actually have to have. Like, there's nothing really '90s about this movie.
No, this
Yeah.
movie does not need to take place in the 90s. And the funny thing is, uh, if I'm remembering things correctly, this movie, so the main bad guy of this movie is Unicron.
Yes.
Um, but Unicron was already a villain, I think, in the last movie, where you find out there's like a huge revelation in Transformers, like the last night,
Hmm.
that apparently Earth is Unicron.
Is that where Optimus Prime rides a dragon or a dinosaur?
No,
Or
that's in the fourth
that's in
one.
the
That's
fourth one?
Age of Extinction.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah,
Earth is Unicron.
something like that. It's been. I only saw the movie once back in 2017, 18 when it came out,
Yeah.
and I remember going, "Wait, hold on, what?" And granted, I am not a huge Transformers head.
I don't get people who are. Like I know, like so. For example, there's Gen Xers who are like, I don't get Pokemon. I don't get people who are all into Pokemon. Like yada yada yada. Like that's just like the one piece of pop media that they missed. I'm like fair, but like okay, like there's games and like
Hmm.
there's a collectible aspect to it. I and I could be making a very ignorant opinion here. I don't think there's anything to Transformers. Otherwise, look at that car that just became a fucking robot. That's so cool.
I think that's the draw, and that's mainly a kid thing. I
Yeah,
think this is a franchise that's purely driven by peak
toys.
nostalgia and
Yep,
toys,
yep.
and that's what it is. Like, I mean,
Which there's nothing wrong with that.
so one of the things that I learned about this movie was that apparently there was a big issue when the character of Mirage was introduced
Hmm.
because Mirage is like the look of Mirage as a car is a Porsche.
Hmm.
Well, Porsche did not want to be associated with toys.
Ooh.
And so then that was a big issue. So they had to have a car that looked like a Porsche,
But wasn't the
but
Porsche.
wasn't a Porsche, and it had a different name. And then it wasn't until Transformers like became
Became a
like
thing.
huge that
Yeah.
Porsche was like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, you know, money, nostalgia, and overall though, like this movie is pretty by the numbers as
Yes.
far as the Transformers movie, and as far as the movie goes, but as far as the Transformers movie goes, this is very like by the numbers.
I was trying to think about like what my one major like and when I say I have one major critique, that doesn't mean I think the movie is like gold. I just feel like, there's not all that much substance here
Huh.
other than just like, look at the machines.
Look at
They're
the machines
fucking
punching each
cool.
other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's only like one real major like storytelling critique that I'm like, I think if you change this, I think you could have a significantly better movie. But we'll get there.
We'll get through in a second.
Yes.
So here, let's do this. Let's just do a really quick, like 2 minute recap of what the hell happened in this movie.
Yep.
So we have a guy played by the guy from In the Heights. That's
Yeah.
all I know him from. His name in the thing was Uznavi, which I always remember being a stupid fucking name. And I'm saying that here because we did not review that movie because that was before our podcasting
I
days.
didn't see In the Heights.
It was not good.
Or
I
West
don't
Side
know.
Story.
Uznavi. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Take a guess. They give you a reason why his name is Uznavi
In the Heights?
in the Heights.
Who's not? It doesn't even sound fucking Spanish. I don't know.
So think about how you would spell it.
UZ?
No. Usnavy.
He's in the Navy?
No,
U.S.
close.
Navy?
Close. His dad, when he immigrated to the United States, saw a U.S. Navy ship and was like, "Oh, who's Navi? I'm gonna
Hiya.
name my kid that."
Hiya.
So stupid. Anyway,
Yeah.
so he's former military. He gets shit canned from it
Yeah.
because he's not a good team player.
And just so everybody's aware, we're talking about In the Heights right now, correct? Oh no, we're talking about
We're talking.
Transformers.
I can see the look of confusion in your face, being like, "Wait, what?"
Here's the thing. We were debating how many podcasts to record today, and I'm like, well, we better do all three because otherwise, like, we're just not gonna talk about the one that we missed that we saw. And like I very much need to do Transformers as quickly as possible because
Oh,
like
we will.
all I
We will
not as
for
quickly as
sure.
possible here, but like I needed to do it as quickly as possible in like the day frame because I'm like I've already forgotten like
Have this shit.
half this movie.
But luckily for you, I
Yeah.
saw it twice, so I remember
Well, so
so
at the
much of
very
it.
beginning, you need to start with the fact that there's the Maximal planet,
Yes, so we do start in the Maximal's homeworld.
and it's very confusing because I saw what appeared to me to be two Optimus Primals.
Which did you catch the name of the first one?
No, but I read it
His name
sometime.
is Ape Link,
Ape Link, that's right.
Abraham Lincoln.
That's
I
hilarious.
love it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so we do have a kind of wish we would have gotten a better introduction to that because
Yeah.
like there's a whole theme in this that or not a theme but like a whole line where it's like the Maximals are technically futuristic compared to the Autobots, but they don't seem that like more developed. They're
No,
just like you're a white dude, you're an Asian dude. Like
if
they're
anything,
still robots.
more impractical. Because,
If
like,
yeah,
you know, if you're gonna be in disguise,
yeah,
it's hard,
you
it's
can't
hard to
be a
be.
giant metal monkey
Yeah,
and be like I'm hiding incognito.
yeah,
Yeah, a giant fucking cheetah.
giant fucking cheetah.
Um,
That's fucking cool.
it's cool. It
That's fun.
is. It is very cool. I don't remember seeing a lot of Beast Wars when I was growing up, so I don't remember if like
Potato Wars.
it looks.
It looks so potato.
Dude,
It
yeah.
looks so
Going back
potato.
to watch clips for that,
Yeah.
it's very hard.
You are watching PS1 cutscenes.
That's
I took that line from you, but like I was trying to watch an episode, I'm like, holy shit.
that is very
Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, so yeah, so they are trying to take the MacGuffin, which is like the trans warp key,
Yeah.
which lets them travel from planet to planet,
Yes.
but only if it has energon.
I thought no, the energon was something else.
Mm-mm.
Oh, the planet hasn't. The planet has to have
The
energon.
planet has to have energon for them to be able to travel
Got
to
you.
it for reasons.
Unobtainium.
Unobtainium,
Yep.
exactly. Um, we're introduced to our main baddie, who is
There's
Scourge,
not Megatron. Yes.
who is who is like Dollar Store Megatron.
Which I'm upset that he transforms into a car. He's another truck, right?
He's a truck, but they are technically not Maximals.
They're not. No, but he should have been able to be a truck and an animal, in my opinion.
So do they have that ability?
Can't Megatron transform into like many
Dude, I
things?
don't remember.
I don't know. Why the fuck not? Just like do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after the intro, we find out that so we're back on Earth. It's in
Yeah.
the 90s. We have this kid. He has He shares a mom with Miles Morales. His brother's sick.
Yes.
They call each other Tails and Sonic.
Yeah.
Um, he
He's looking for a job
looking for
because
a
it's the
job.
90s.
He fails. He ends up having to steal a car with his friend Reek, which,
Yep.
by the way, what a fucking name.
What a name.
Then the car ends up being Mirage.
Yes.
Um,
And all the while, um, Elena, that's the character's name, right?
yes, Selena.
Is doing unappreciated science intern things
Yep.
at the
It's
museum.
the trope of she is too good for her job and
Mhm.
underappreciated.
Which is, by the way, those type of interns just like don't exist.
No. Maybe in the 90s you could kind of be like,
Maybe in the 90s you could believe that that existed,
yeah,
but that just doesn't exist.
yeah.
The most unrealistic thing about this giant robot movie.
That's fair.
Yeah,
So yeah, she's doing work. She finds a statue. The when she like boops it, it
yeah,
creates a beacon that everybody can see.
yes. The
Um,
Transformers want to use it to go back home.
yes, the Scourge's people want to use it to bring Unicron
Unicron,
to eat more planets. Basically, he feeds off of the Energon.
yeah,
So by being able to travel from Energon-rich planet to Energon-rich planet, he can just
he doesn't have to
potentially
walk
just
as far.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And
yeah.
he's a big boy, so he probably
Takes a while.
takes a while to go very
Yeah,
far. Which fair.
yeah.
I wouldn't want to.
He doesn't want to get his steps in.
Which I thought was interesting because at the beginning of the movie he says your boss is going to be trapped in this galaxy forever.
Yeah.
But why can't he travel, but his homies can travel?
Here's what's also interesting. The As to this point on travel, props to them for doing it because like it kind of needs to be there to create stakes.
Hmm.
I just think it's hilarious that these are all high tech robots.
Hmm.
A, no means of like leaving the atmosphere of a planet.
Yeah.
B, like
Which,
not
by the way, if they can't leave the planet or they don't have the technology to leave the planet, then how did gorgeous people get here from another planet?
with spaceships. I don't know, but B, I actually think I remember in this movie. We'll go get there eventually. But anyway, B, um, only the birdie in this movie can fly.
Yep.
And I'm like, that is a poor design
That was a very poor fun.
of a robot.
Hmm.
Yep.
Absolutely. Um, she is. I do like that she's a giant fucking
It's
bird
cool.
that shoots things.
It's fucking cool.
Reminds me of Power Rangers.
Yeah, I needed more giant fucking animals. Yeah.
Yes. They. That's one thing that does kind of bum me out.
Hmm.
So when they try to steal the key back, we're introduced to Michelle Yeoh's character, who
Yeah.
is Eraser, the giant bird.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we do have a few new Transformers in this movie.
We've
So we
got
have Bumblebee back, and
we got motorcycle girl,
we have
motorcycle girl.
RC, who is a very a very hot looking robot girl.
I'll let you say it, not me.
Hey man, listen,
And then we got Pete Davidson,
we got Pete Davidson,
Mirage.
Mirage, but then all the other new characters are all Maximals.
Yes.
Um,
And they call the bad guys Terracons,
Terracons.
which
That's a thing from the Beast
in the Breeze
Wars.
scores are called Predacons, which
Oh,
I didn't. And it was, I don't know how this worked, where the memory came from. Millions of fans, if you could explain this to us, please do. Um, I heard Terracons. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that's what they were called. And then when I went back to watch that first episode, no, they're called Predacons.
interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
There was Pterosaur,
Pterosaur.
who's a pterodactyl predacon,
Oh.
who had the best voice. Actually, that show had some amazing voices for its baddies. Waspinator and Pterosaur. Please, at your leisure, just go back and listen to what they sounded like.
This
Yeah.
this sounds like a trap.
No, it's hilarious.
But yeah, so then they go to Peru, which is where they have like the second half of the key because they lost the first half.
Which there was something when I was watching it. There was, oh yeah, so they're gonna track us down to Peru, right? So we got to move fast. And I was watching, I was like, unless they're actually tailing you, how would they fucking track you down in Peru?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Yeah,
The only way that she found out Peru was through archaeological means. And they're like, oh, they'll find out. I'm like, these people aren't like pouring over the books.
that's a good point.
Yeah,
That's a very good point.
yeah.
And they didn't specify anything about them like tracking them through some computery roboty means.
No, as to what I gathered, the whole going to Peru was actually brought up by the Maximals, like at the split up.
Yes,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah,
When like hundreds of years ago when they first arrived,
yeah. But
but yeah.
there's nothing in like the lore or the text that say like this needs to be in
No,
Peru.
because
Yeah,
as far as we are aware,
yeah,
even Air Racer doesn't even know that they're in Peru.
yeah,
She just said we took our groups, we split in halfsies. We went somewhere, you went somewhere.
yeah.
We
But we don't.
each hit half of our keys.
Yeah,
I believe her side of the her like half of the key was hidden somewhere in like
Africa.
Africa,
Yeah,
um, which is why they have the stuff at the museum.
yeah.
So yeah, very odd that they would be able to track him down so easily.
So as per the logic of this movie,
Uh,
they could have not gone to find the key, and they would have probably kept the key safer. They went
Probably
to go find it.
would have had to keep the key safer. They could have. I mean, honestly, so when they're flying to Peru,
Mm.
uh, Anthony is that his name?
The
No,
Noah.
Noah,
Yeah,
the actor's name
Anthony's
is
the actor.
Anthony.
Yeah,
Noah's like, no, what's that fucking key?
yeah,
First of all, homie, how?
yeah,
You're a dude. At best, you have a gun.
yeah,
How are you going to destroy this magical 1,000-year-old key
yep,
with your little human hands?
yep.
So first mistake. But second of all, I do agree. That's probably
That's
the
probably the
best way
best
to
idea.
go.
Yeah,
Just like
I don't
as
care if these animals get back home.
not just that, but like the Maximals seem to be pretty chill with
Yeah,
the idea of we're just gonna live here on Earth. What the hell else do we gotta do?
yeah.
Like we know this thing is a potential
Unicron.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a threat if Unicron gets his hands on it. Just fucking destroy it.
destroy it.
Chuck that shit right into the sun.
Which, all right, this is a good segue into actually if I were to fix one main thing, this is what it would be. So all these movies get criticized for like their human characters, where like the human part is typically seen as more boring than the robot smash part.
Yes, and I have thought, but go on.
So this one, I think the only other Transformer I've seen, maybe Transformers 2 on a bus.
Did you see the one with the
I saw
Einstein?
Dark of the Moon in theaters. So like I've seen basically one and a half Transformers movies in my life, right? Dark of the Moon doesn't have Megan Fox, right? It's the first one with
Dark of the Moon does not have Megan Fox.
yeah. So so that's the one I saw in theaters. And I agree in those movies, like, yeah, human character is boring. These ones less boring, but like in the grand scheme of things, still think boring. I think one thing that they could have done just to make the dynamic between like Anthony and Elena more interesting, because this movie basically like claps them together like
Dude,
right away.
it's so
Yeah,
odd.
and it's so
I
odd.
have a thought about it another way, but go on.
They should have known each other.
Yes,
I think they even should have been siblings. And then not in a weird way,
not related, but
I think the character of Anthony's brother is just kind of like superfluous, right?
it's there to give him a reason to like want to go through with like it shows you like the agency why he needs a job that badly and why he would resort to stealing shit.
Ineffective because like
But yeah, like the fact that he's sick doesn't really
because all you've seen is actually like he's doing it to save the world,
yeah.
and you've only seen the world fuck him like so
Yeah.
far in this movie.
Yeah.
So the part about saving the world specifically, like,
Seems
seems
you could have had his mom be sick.
yeah,
You could have been like, "Mom's sick. I, did a shitty job in the army because I wanted to go home to leave to take care of my mom.
yeah,
Now I need a job to help my mom."
yep,
And you can totally bypass the little brother thing.
yeah, yeah,
Unnecessary.
yeah,
I think if you had done like maybe Elena was a high school friend,
yes,
that they had some knowledge of each other, but then once he went to the army and she went into her
right.
college, then they split up.
Anyway, they just
Yeah,
need to know each other because, like,
something.
yeah,
there's so she gets kidnapped because he refuses to bust the key when they get found
She gets kidnapped by
by
the baddies.
well, yes and no, right? She gets joined by Air Racer after
Yeah.
she gets infected by Scorch.
Yes.
Okay, so let's backtrack a second. There are some pretty fun and cool looking like action set pieces in
Yeah.
this. At the very beginning, we have a really fun chase with Mirage and a bunch of cops, where a
Yep.
bunch of cops practically die.
Yeah, and like
Dad, this is a very like fuck the
the
police.
camera lingers on them.
Yeah.
This year in film has had like quite a few fuck the police. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, quite a few. Then we have a solid chase scene between the Terracons and the Autobots
right.
escaping from a city in Peru.
Mm.
There's a big fight like down like the side of a hill,
Mm-hmm.
which I think looked really cool.
It did look cool.
And so like when all that's happening, like it's like really nice spectacle.
Yep.
Everything looks like it should. I
Yep.
don't. One thing I will commend this movie for, not commend, um, praise this movie for.
Commend.
What was I thinking of?
Condemn.
Condemn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, is that as far as like the visuals go,
They look good.
it looks
They look
great
good. Yeah.
as opposed to another movie that we saw recently. But like all this shit, you're like, these are giant fucking robots, and
Yeah.
they look like giant fucking robots, and they could probably step on me,
Yep.
and that's kind of impressive.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, but then so she gets infected during that fight, during that last scuffle, and she starts to like go bad.
Yeah.
And that's where we do have another fight scene between why am I blinking his name?
Prime.
Optimus Primal,
Yeah.
who has to put down his friend.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I I do like that a bit.
Yeah, it's
It
sad.
shows the stakes that he is willing to
Sacrifice for the greater good.
yeah, and he does say like, whatever it takes. Like
Right.
that's their motto. Whatever you have to do to make sure that these guys don't get that key,
Yeah.
you do. And
Yeah.
if it means you have to kill your friend, it means you have to kill your friend. I don't like the idea though that after they take the key, they're like, well, that's all we can do. And it takes one little human homie to be like, guys,
Yeah.
let's rally.
Yeah. Yeah.
That to me seems a little
That seems like big pussy energy from the robots.
like you're a massive and also like homie, what are you gonna do?
Which I like actually is so this is the first Transformers movie that gives a human character like a suit.
Yeah,
Necessary.
necessary. You
Necessary.
if you're gonna
Yeah.
have human
They need
characters,
to be able to actually do
yeah, they gotta be
something.
able to hold their own because
Yeah.
you step up, they flick you, your head's
You're
gone.
gonzo. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like that. They start slow. They have Mirage give them like a wrist bracelet type of thing
Hmm.
where
That
like
shoots Mega Man bolts.
it's yeah,
Yeah.
yep, exactly. It's basically the Mega Blaster from Mega
Is
Man.
there a Capcom connection to Transformers in any way, by the way?
No, but it'd be dope.
It would be dope.
Why hasn't there been a Mega Man like movie?
Gotta happen
It's gotta, because it's
soon,
it's
right? Yeah.
actually solid.
Yeah.
It's a solid idea of like these robot androids like taking over.
Yeah.
It's kind of dope. Anyway, um, the problem though, or not the problem, the whole thing after this is then we do have them going to like a volcano to like fight,
Right.
and that's a really cool third act. I think some people are saying that like it looks bland, it
No,
looks boring. I don't care, man,
I
dude.
like my big CGI battles.
Here's the thing. People are saying that it looks bland, but I believe it's in the Bumblebee movie. There's a scene that takes place in what's the Cybertron? That's their
I
homeworld,
think
right?
so, yeah.
It looks just as bland, and people were like, "This is so cool! You can see the Transformers fighting the Decepticons and Cybertron. This is what we want to see." And now you're complaining about two army of robots like fighting in a bland-looking world.
Yeah, I don't know. First of all, I think any big battle sequence. that doesn't get shit on for just being like big CGI fest has to effectively be like Helm's Deep worthy. Like, didn't even the Endgame final battle get shit on for that? Or was
A
this just
little.
something that happened post Endgame?
It's something that happened like recently
Yeah,
that people were like, "Well, look at the fight in Endgame. It's also like big grayscape,"
right.
and you're like, "Yeah, but do you not understand why there's a big gray crater in the planet now? Because
Yeah.
Thanos blew everything up."
And then like then you go back to criticisms of like Man of Steel where it's like, oh, all these movies and Transformers. Where like these fights all used to happen and just like destroying like
Yeah,
big cities.
cities.
Yeah. Like I'm not saying this is cinematic gold or masterpiece. I just feel like this is just a part of the action movie. He needs to end in a big fight.
Yeah.
Like and get entertained for like 10
Here's the
minutes.
thing: if this did not end in a big fight, you would be disappointed.
Yeah.
If you walked up, be like, "I'm gonna take that key," and they go, "Okay."
Right.
If they go swipe or no swiping, and you get back the key, you're gonna be disappointed.
Because this is certainly not a character drama.
No, 100%.
Right.
And I know we were talking about the human characters. Like, I will say, this is probably, besides Bumblebee,
Hmm.
this is probably the best use of humans in a Transformers movie. Like, they actually do something. Like, if it wasn't for Elena, they wouldn't know where the second half of the key is,
Hmm.
right? That drives the plot forward. Other than that, like any other movies don't do anything with the character. So at least this has that.
Yeah.
Um, so it's fine. Let there be some fun stuff happening in the third
Let
act.
there be carnage.
Let there be carnage. Um, so let's get to the very last bit of the movie.
The best part?
This is the part that so I'm watching this movie and he's going to a final interview
Yeah.
with the dude from Dawn of the Dead.
I know him from House of Cards. Yes, but yes,
Yeah,
with a
he's a
with a
relatively like well-known dude.
with a non-throwaway actor.
Exactly.
Yeah,
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 exactly. So you're sitting there going like, this has to be something. This can't just be like,
right.
oh, come on, let's go. We'll give you a badge and a baton, and you can be security for the night. Um, so you know that something is up. Initially, you might be thinking that it could be the government agency that is in the Transformers movies.
Yeah,
They are aware of like the Autobots. They are aware of the Decepticons. But no, he gets a little card, and what does it say?
GI Joe.
G.I. Joe, which Sano automatically goes, "What the fuck?" I was surprised that you had not
I had
like.
not heard of any of the crossover like rumblings of this in GI Joe. I mean, I think here you have one underperforming media franchise, you have another underperforming media franchise. Gen Xers both really love them for some reason, right? They're basically just there to sell toys.
Yep,
Like, fucking do it.
army, fuck yeah,
Like,
hoorah.
fucking do it. I don't know if I have. Here's the thing with this actor. I liked him.
Hmm.
I didn't like love him. I don't know if I mean, I'll see it, but like, I don't know if like, if we were doing this podcast, I don't know if I would go see just like a plain old G.I. Joe movie. Like, I actually
Mm.
like, I kind of, kind of just want to see the crossover. um, and also like, other than actually just being propaganda, because that is literally what G.I. Joe is. It is just a propaganda
Yeah,
cartoon.
100%.
I don't know what's characteristic about G.I. Joe. For instance, what's characteristic about Transformers? They are cars
They are
that
robots in
turn
disguise.
into robots.
There's more than meets the eye.
In G.I. Joe, Snake Eyes looks cool.
That's the thing.
And
So
yeah,
here's the thing. So Transformers does have some very like iconic things about it
yeah.
about them, like Shadowstorm and Snake Eyes. Like if you see them, odds are you know at least their name
From G.I. Joe, you mean?
from GI
Yeah,
Joe.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there is that like iconicness to them.
I need to see Shadowstorm. I don't know what Shadowstorm looks like.
He's just basically white Snake Eyes.
Oh, okay, very good.
Then you have like characters like Cobra Commander
Hmm.
and the Red Baroness. So like there is something to it.
Yeah.
Um, but Lord knows I cannot tell you what
The rest of the team
the
is
rest of the
called.
team. I know there's a guy named Duke, and that's about it.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
And I don't know that transform. I think Transformers on its own has the like the idea of, hey, we have giant robots. They
Hmm.
go beep boop bop bop dub 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 dub.
Hmm.
Right? That's cool.
That's cool.
But another army movie about military stuff,
I
there's it's a
I
drop in the bucket.
I've never seen a GI Joe movie. That's the thing. It's really what that's really like what it is. And like for it's interesting because people talk about like Marvel fatigue, right?
Hmm.
And I was thinking about this while watching Secret Invasion yesterday, where I was like, all these, like, say you think all this is mediocre, which is fair. Like this would all just exist, but under like some different IP, and
Hmm.
you'd probably forget about it, right? Because like without like the superhero element and without like standing into an overarching story, it doesn't have much else that like
Yeah,
really gives it like beef. Um and like these like action movies that haven't like proved their metal yet are just kind of like
dime a
a
dozen.
dime a dozen.
Yeah,
And I feel like GI Joe, even though it is part of a franchise, like just very much like slips into the like the ether for me.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it doesn't help that the movies just weren't good. So like there
Yeah.
was no word of mouth. Like it's not that you can be like, "Hey, go see this movie. It's actually pretty good."
Yeah.
Because you watch and you go, "I don't think I would even want to go see this again.
Yeah.
Why would I tell my homie to go see this?"
Yeah.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
No sense.
But that said, I I'm gonna go see it because
Of this new crazy experiment.
I kind of want to know what that's like.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that that has a chance to elevate the Transformers, the GI Joe brand, and I think it has a way to incorporate some humans into the Transformers world that are a little bit more interesting. I think
It will be cool to see what the actual like.
end product is
Yes.
yes. So before we wrap up, what two franchises do you think could be a potential crossover?
I had jokes. And by the way, when I was making my jokes about Fast and the Furious and Transformers, um, did you did you know something like this was coming? And like I forget what the timeline of that was. I had jokes when we saw Fast and the Furious. I'm like, where's my Transformers crossover? Damn it! Right?
No, I had not
You
heard
had
about that this was happening yet,
yeah okay
or even like I said, the only reason why I knew GI Joe was a potential thing was because I know that they're both Hasbro things,
yeah
and right now like crossing over things is like very popular.
yes
Because I remember them thinking about crossing these two things over like 5 6 years ago
yeah.
when they were thinking about maybe doing it.
As a kid, I really wanted a Yu-Gi-Oh Pokemon crossover.
There we go.
It would be dumb. It
No,
would.
no, no, not dumb. I said it'd be dope.
Oh, you think it'd be dope?
Dope.
I
If the
think
Pokemons are the cards,
no. The worlds just like they both just exist. Like
they
if the
just
Pokemon world
exist.
exists and somebody creates a card
I
game,
challenge you to a
yeah,
duel, and
and
Pikachu goes, "Bzz, you want
no, maybe
cards."
actually maybe what you could do is just how we have like actual triathlons that test your actual physical endurance.
You play around the Yu-Gi-Oh,
And
and
a
then you go
Pokemon battle.
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Best two out of three.
That's what I wanted as a child. I'm trying to think about what franchises I would be like interested in crossing over now.
So funny that you mentioned Pokemon
Uh,
because I think a way to kind of bridge the gap is a Pokemon Digimon
See, I don't think
crossover
I don't.
because there's always been the debate.
There's always been the debate.
It's like the Marvel versus Capcom situation where you're
It,
like, who would win in a fight?
it's actually more like Godzilla versus King Kong. I would say,
Similar.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um, that was in the back of my brain while I was saying it. I don't think. I feel like that one. The thing that I think works about GI Joe and Transformers is actually they're different, right?
Yeah,
Where like when you put them together, you're like, oh, it's the peanut butter and burger, right? Where you're
sure,
like, I
yeah,
wouldn't think that these go together, but they like
but they
kind of
do.
do, and
Yeah,
that's why to me, Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon is actually like too safe. I loved the idea of Men in Black, 21 Jump Street.
that would have been so good.
Yes.
I hate the fact that
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 we don't get to live in that universe.
yeah,
Yeah. You know what? This is a cop out. Make that happen. Just fucking make it happen.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, it could.
It could.
It very well could
In this day and age,
in this
in this
day
economy,
in this economy where people want like
I don't know if people want it, but
no people want it.
but where it's happening,
Dude, people
where it's happening.
yeah, that's a great answer. I
Yeah.
think let's stick with that.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, I hope everybody no, that's not true. I don't hope everybody go see this movie.
I
I think
hope
people should go see it.
I hope that when it appears on Paramount Plus, and if you're a subscriber, you maybe check it out while you scroll your phone.
Here's the thing, though. I will say this: I do think that I want to see this GI Joe Transformers crossover happen.
I
So
want to see
maybe I do want people to go see it because this movie is
I want to see more beasts. I want to see more of the beasts. I
yeah.
want to see T-Rex Megatron.
Is that what he is?
He's a T-Rex.
So that's my other question.
Yeah.
I think I asked earlier and I wasn't sure. Do other Transformers also get abilities to change into different things? Because like all the Autobots can kind of change into different vehicles. So can the Maximals also change into different animals, or are they just stuck as giant
Cheetor
gorilla?
is a cheetah, right?
Yes, but
Um,
can he do something else?
no, he's only a cheetah.
That's sad.
Rhinox is only a rhino.
Because like Bumblebee has been like a Camaro, he's been a bug.
Yeah, no, they're only in the cartoon, right? They're only that animal, as I remember. Yeah,
Is that a choice? Or is that just like that's how you were born?
I don't know. I don't know.
Fair.
I don't know. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank everybody for listening. Remember to like, share, and comment on our things.
Comment.
Comment. We will be back very soon with The Flash.
More
More
episodes.
episodes.
Biatch.
Yatch. All right, everybody. He has been Thano,
He has been Javier.
and this has been the Cine-Scoots podcast. Bye.
Bye. Ooh, nice harmony.